In this video, I'm going to cover how to start a new project without any existing source code. As part of this demo, I'm going to be using some filler text from the Hipster Ipsum website, which is available at hipsum.co. So to start off, I'm going to return to my terminal, and I'm starting off in my user's home directory. pwd shows that I'm in the root folder of my user's home directory. Within there, I have a projects folder, so cd projects. And here, I want to create a fresh new Git repository. To do that, I'm going to use git's init command. So git space init space and then the name of your project. For this example, I'll call it fresh-project. Now press enter. In doing so, Git created a folder called fresh-project. If I do an ls, you can see that I have a fresh-project folder. Alright, so let's go into it. So cd space fresh-project. Now press enter. I'll go ahead and point out a few important pieces of information here. If I do an ls, you'll see there are no files or folders listed. However, if I do an ls-al, that tells the list command to list all files and folders, including dot files and folders, and -l tells it to list in the listing format. Now you can see that we have a .git folder. That is actually where the Git repository lives. The folder that I'm in now is actually the working folder. So if I go into the .git folder, you can do an ls. You can see all the various folders and files that make up the Git repository internally. So if I go back, now I'm back in the working directory, and I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to use git status command, which will let me know the status of the Git repository. So type git space status, press enter, and the git status command tells us that we're on the master branch. Now, as described before, the master branch is the default branch that Git gives us in the beginning. We can always create more branches later, but for now, we'll stay on master. Git tells me that I'm on the initial commit, and that I have nothing to commit yet. Now, that's because I haven't created any files yet. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So if I head back over to my browser, and you can see that I'm on the Hipster Ipsum website. 4 paragraphs is fine. We're probably just going to use the first one. And it really doesn't matter which option you choose here. We just need filler text. So beer me is the way that we get the text. So I'm going to just take that first paragraph, Control click or right click, and then copy. That puts that text into the clipboard. And now I'm going to return to my command prompt. Now let's create a new file. So mate, space, and then the name of a file. I'm just going to create it hipster.txt. Now press enter. That fires off TextMate. And now we should just be able to press Command V to paste in all that ipsum lorem. Great. Now let's save by doing Command S and close Command W. Now that we've returned back to the command prompt, now if I do a git status, again, Git reminds us that we're on the master branch and that we're building up our initial commit. However, we have some additional information. Git tells me that I have some untracked files, and it sees the hipster.txt file. Well, we're currently in the working directory, so Git is not tracking this yet. To have Git track this file, we simply need to add that file to the Git index or Git's staging area. To do that, we simply type git space add space and then the file we wish to add. So now I'm going to press enter. Now if we do our git status, Git tells us that we have changes to be committed. That means this new file, hipster.txt, is now in the Git staging area. We have a file that's waiting to be committed, but it's not committed yet. We could back out this file, and it's not going to impact Git's history in any way. However, at this point, I do want to move forward with this file. So now if we type git commit without any extra parameters, Git will invoke our default editor, which currently is TextMate, for our commit message. So now I can type my commit message. So adding new file with hipster ipsum, and on a second line, this was done with TextMate 2. So one advantage of using the text editor for my commit messages is that I have the option of doing multiple line commit messages. Now to use this as my commit message, I will save and then close. Command S, then Command W. So you can see that the commit happened and that it used the commit message that I entered into the text editor. Now, one thing to note is that when the command prompt returns with the commit message, that all the lines are run together. So it's not going to preserve the new line character, but that only happens as part of the git commit command. Those new line characters are being preserved, and I'll show you that later. Additionally, you'll notice that in parenthesis, we have root-commit. That's just letting us know this was the very first commit of this repository. So now, if I do a git status, Git reminds me that I'm on the master branch, and now I have nothing to commit, and that my working directory is clean. So at this point, my new file, hipster.txt, is in the Git repository. So now that change is part of the Git's commit history. All right, well, we're done for now. So I'm going to back up a level. That brings us back to the projects folder. Do an ls. You can see my fresh project is there. And now if I do a rm-rf, specify the fresh-project, it will delete that folder for me. So no more Git repository.